cheerful soul with a tendency to be humorous. If she is particular as to small details of scolding locks and eyebrows, he probably wears glasses. If she devotes unusual attention to her nails, the affair has progressed to that interesting stage where he may hold her hand for a few minutes at a time. If she selects her handkerchief with extreme care, one with an initial and a faint odor of violet, she expects to give it to him to carry and to forget to ask for it. If he makes an extra call in order to return it, it indicates a lesser degree of interest than if he says nothing about it. The forgotten handkerchief is an important straw with the girl when love's capricious wind blows her way. It is not entirely without reason that womankind in general blames the other woman for defection of any kind. Short-sighted woman thinks it a mighty tribute to her own charm to secure the passing interest of another's rightful property. It does not seem to occur to her that someone else will lure him away from her with even more ease. Each successive luring makes defection simpler for a man. Practice tends toward perfection in most things. Perhaps it is the single exception, love, which proves the rule. Practice tends toward perfection in most things. Perhaps it is the single exception, love, which proves the rule. 3 delusions among women are widespread and painful. Marriage is currently supposed to reform a man. A rejected lover is heartbroken for life, and if the other woman were only out of the way, he would come back. Love sometimes reforms a man, but marriage does not. The rejected lover suffers for a brief period. Feminine philosophers variously estimate it, but a week is a generous average. And he who will not come in spite of the other woman is not worth having at all. Emerson says, quote, "The things which are really for thee gravitate to thee." End quote. One is tempted to add the World's Congress motto, quote, "Not things, but men." End quote. There is no virtue in women which men cultivate so assiduously as forgiveness. They may make one think that it is very pretty and charming to forgive. It is not hygienic, however, for the woman who forgives easily has a great deal of it to do. When pardon is to be had for the asking, there are frequent causes for its giving. This, of course, applies to the interesting period before marriage. Postnuptial sins are atoned for with gifts. Not more than once in a whole marriage with the simple manly words, "Forgive me, dear, I was wrong." It injures a man's conceit vitally to admit he has made a mistake. This is gracious and knightly in the lover, but a married man, the head of a family, must be careful to maintain his position. Cases of reformation by marriage are few and far between, and men more often die of wounded conceit than broken hearts. Men have died and worms have eaten them, but not for love, save on the stage and in the stories women cry over. The other woman is the chief bugbear of life. On desert islands, and in a very few delightful books, her baneful presence is not. The girl a man loves with all his heart can see a long line of ghostly ancestors, and requires no opera glasses to discern through the mists of the future a procession of possible posterity. It is for this reason that men's ears are tried with the eternal unchanging, "Am I the only woman you ever loved?" and "Will you always love me?" The woman who finally acquires a legal possession of a man is haunted by the shadowy predecessors. If he is unwary enough to let her know another girl has refused him, she develops a violent hatred for this inoffensive maiden. Is it because the cruel creature has given pain to her lord? His gods are not her gods, if he has adored another woman. These two are mutually other women, and the second one has the best of it, for there is no thorn in feminine flesh like the rejected lover who finds consolation elsewhere. It may be exceedingly pleasant to be a man's first love, but she is wise beyond books who chooses to be his last, and it is foolish to spend mental effort upon old flames rather than in watching for new ones, for Caesar himself is not more utterly dead than a man's dead love. Women are commonly supposed to worry about their age, but Father Time is a trouble to men also. The girl of 20 thinks it absurd for women to be concerned about the matter, but the hour eventually comes when she regards a subject with reverence akin to awe. There is only one terror in it, the dreadful 9s. 29! Might she not as well be 30? There is little choice between Scylla and Charybdis. 29 is the hour of reckoning for every woman, married, engaged, or unattached. The married woman felicitates herself greatly, unless a tall daughter of 9 or 10 walks abroad at her side. The engaged girl is safe. She rejoices in the last hours of her lingering girlhood, and hems table linen with more resignation. The unattached girl has a strange interest in creams and hair tonics, and usually betakes herself to the cloister of the university for special courses, since azure hosiery does not detract from a woman's charm in the eyes of the faculty. Men do not often know their ages accurately till after 30. The gladsome heyday of youth takes no note of the annual milestones, but after 30, ah me, yes, a man will say sometimes, I am 31. But the fellows tell me I don't look a day over 29. Scylla and Charybdis again. Still, age is not a matter of birthdays, but of the heart. Some women are mature cynics at 20, while a gray-haired matron of 50 seems to have found the secret of perennial youth. There is little to choose, as regards beauty and charm, between the young, unformed girl, whose soft eyes look with longing into the unyielding future, which gives her no hint of its purposes, and the mature woman, well-groomed, self-reliant to her fingertips, who has drunk deeply of life's cup and found it sweet. A woman is never old until the little finger of her glove is allowed to project beyond the finger itself, and she orders her new photographs from an old plate in preference to sitting again. In all the 7 ages of man there is someone whom she may attract. If she is 25, the boy who has just attained long trousers will not buy her striped sticks of peppermint and ask shyly if he may carry her books. She is not apt to wear fraternity pins and decorate her rooms in college colors, unless her lover still holds his alma mater in fond remembrance. But there are others, always the others, and is it less sweet to inspire the love which lasts than the tender verses of a sophomore? Her field of action is not sensibly limited, for at 20 men love woman, at 30 a woman, at 40 women. Woman has 3 weapons, flattery, food, and flirtation, and only the last of these is ever denied her by time. With the first she appeals to man's conceit, with the second to his heart, which is suspected to lie at the end of the esophagus rather than over among lungs and ribs, and with the third to his natural rivalry of his fellows. But the pleasures of the chase grow beautifully less when age brings rheumatism and kindred ills. Besides, may she not always be a chaperone? When a political orator refers effectively to, quote, the cancer which is eating at the heart of the body politic, end quote, some way, it always makes a girl think of a chaperone. She goes ostensibly to lend a decorous air to whatever proceedings may be in view. She is to keep the man from making love to the girl. Whispers and tender hand-claps are occasionally possible, however, for, tell it not in Gath, the chaperone was once young herself, and at times looks the other way. That is, unless she is the girl's mother. Trust a parent for keeping 2 eyes and a pair of glasses on a girl. Trust the non-matchmaking mother for 4 new eyes under her black hair and a double row of ears arranged laterally along her anxious spine. And yet, if the estimable lady had not been married herself, it is altogether likely that the girl would never have thought of it. The reason usually given for chaperonage is that it gives the girl a chance to become acquainted with the man. Of course, in the presence of a chaperone, a man says and does exactly the same things he would if he were alone with the maiden of his choice. He does not mind making love to a girl in her mother's presence. He does not even care to be alone with her when he proposes to her. He would like to have some chaperone read his letters. He always writes with this intention. At any time during the latter part of the month, it fills him with delight to see the chaperone order a lobster after they have all had oysters. Nonsense! Why do not the leaders of society say frankly, quote, this chaperone business is just a little game. Our husbands are either at the club or soundly asleep at home. It is not nice to go around alone, and it is pathetic to go in pairs with no man. We will go with our daughters and their young friends, for they have cavaliers enough and to spare. Let us get out and see the world, lest we die of ennui and neglect. End quote. It is the chaperone who really goes with the young man. She takes the girl along to escape gossip. It is strange, when it is woman's avowed object to make man happy, that she insists upon doing it in her own way rather than in his. He likes the rich, warm colors, the deep reds and dark greens. Behold his house.